Disney is synonymous with family entertainment, and Disney Cruise Line is no exception. When comparing Disney Cruise Line to other family-focused lines like, say, Carnival Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean, the cost can be significantly higher. But is it worth it? Well, we recently embarked on a 7-night Bahamas cruise on Disney Fantasy, and now we're back and we share all the details in our signature Disney Fantasy Cruise Ship Review Scorecard up next. Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm Don B from Eat, Sleep, Cruise, where we help you see the world one port at a time. And as always, if you have any questions about cruising, or in this case, Disney Cruise Line, please leave them in the comment section below as we answer every single question. Our week-long Bahamas cruise on Disney Fantasy included 2 days at the cruise line's brand new Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, as well as additional stops in Nassau, Bahamas, and the cruise line's first private destination, Castaway Cay. Given it was one of the first cruises to this new private destination, our balcony cabin came in at just over $9,000, even though we booked over a year in advance. This price didn't include add-ons like alcoholic beverages, specialty coffees, Wi-Fi, or service charges. So when going all in, our Disney Fantasy cruise cost over $10,700. One reason Disney Cruise Line can command higher cruise fares than the competition has to do with the standard features and the overall size of their staterooms. Our balcony stateroom on Disney Fantasy was significantly more roomy when compared to other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean or Norwegian Cruise Line. According to the DCL website, our Family Deluxe Veranda Room, cabin 5036, was a comfortable 299 square feet. This includes the veranda, which has an additional 50 square feet more than the ship's standard balcony. Still, the interior of the stateroom was easily 10 to 20% larger than comparable rooms we stayed in on other contemporary cruise lines. While the layout was about the same as any cruise ship cabin, there was more room between the bed and the nearby seating area, as well as more room to walk between the bed and the opposite wall. We had 2 identical closets containing a clothes bar and a few shelves. Next to the closet was also a small armoire with additional drawers and shelves. As if that wasn't enough storage, the desk also had additional drawers and shelves. Even for us overpackers who also had plans to spend several days in the Walt Disney World Resort, we had ample space to unpack all of our belongings. Another staple of Disney Cruise Line cabins is the split bathrooms. The separate sink and shower make it easy for several family members to get ready in the morning. Although there was only 2 of us, this still came in handy. Our oversized balcony was a surprise. Given that our cabin was all the way forward on Deck 5, we were treated to an extended balcony that was about twice as big as the rest of the balconies on the ship. So we had loungers, upright seats, and a table. Given that Disney Fantasy is about 12 years old, the only drawback of the cabin was the outlets. While there were several outlets near the bed and desk, there were not many USB and no USB-C connections. When comparing our balcony cabin to balcony cabins on other cruise lines, this room was actually more similar in size and layout to a junior suite on other cruise ships. While the cabin size alone does not justify the exuberant cruise fare for our trip, the room amenities and size were certainly a notable upgrade. Besides the oversized cabins with their unique design, perhaps the other biggest difference between Disney Cruise Line and the competition is the main dining. While most cruise lines offer traditional dining and some form of flexible dining, Disney does things a bit differently with their rotational dining. One drawback for some cruisers is that everyone on board is forced into a fixed dining time. This means there's an early seating and a late seating. On our cruise, the early seating was 5:45 p.m., while the late seating was 8 p.m. Although, as fans of traditional dining, this setup did not bother us. Disney Fantasy is home to 3 uniquely designed main dining rooms. Guests rotate through these venues on a set schedule along with their waitstaff. On a 7-night cruise, guests get to experience 2 distinct menus at each of the 3 dining rooms. On night 4 of our cruise, everyone was able to dig into the line's signature Pirate Night food and drink across all the main dining rooms. For this cruise review, we dined all 7 nights in the main dining room, mainly because we were unable to get specialty restaurant reservations. Our waitstaff team of head waiter Duran, waiter Lyra, and our assistant waiter Ashley were fantastic. They were some of the friendliest and most attentive servers we've had in years. A benefit of this more traditional dining approach is that servers get to know you and your dining preferences. This dining team was no different, and they quickly caught on to our dining and drinking habits. Thus, the service, paired with the upgraded menus and remarkably themed dining rooms on Disney Fantasy, were more similar to a premium cruise than a contemporary cruise. We started our rotational dining at the Royal Court. This is the most formal of the 3 main dining rooms. It's home to exquisite finishes and an equally upscale menu. This dining room is adorned with luxurious accent pieces, including stagecoach embellishments, chandeliers, and mosaics of your favorite Disney princesses. Of all the 3 dining rooms, this Deck 3 midship restaurant most resembled a main dining room you might find on other cruise lines. Night 1 featured iced lobster and shrimp as a starter, with a rich and savory Chateaubriand and seafood pasta entrees, finished with a Grand Marina souffle for dessert. On our second Royal Court menu, on Night 7, was the most formal dinner, featuring oysters Rockefeller and an oven-baked lobster tail. Of course, no formal meal would be complete without rich desserts like chocolate lava cake or warm apple pie with vanilla ice cream. The most Disney-fied dining room is the Animator's Palate. We dined here on Night 2 and Night 5 of the cruise. The dining room is meant to resemble an illustrator's drawing room. Thus, it's filled with Disney art and sculptures. Plus, it's home to 2 interactive dining experiences. The first night features Crush and characters from Finding Nemo. The digital screens make this partially interactive show possible. While dining on smoked salmon tartare, grilled tuna steak, or lemon thyme chicken, guests can play games and even talk with Crush. The second night in this venue is perhaps the most fun dinner of the cruise. Guests draw a character and then get to watch their creations come to life, thanks to some Disney magic. Of course, the show features all of your table mates' artistic creations partaking in hilarious skits. Even my poorly sketched character, that according to Heidi apparently resembled Abe Lincoln, made an appearance. The second dinner boasts menu items like Malaysian chicken sautés, grilled marinated shrimp, herb-crusted rack of lamb, and the sweet celebration cake. While the first 2 main dining rooms were located on Deck 3, the Enchanted Garden is situated on Deck 2 midship. Invoking the gardens and palace of Versailles, this restaurant offers a fresh and floral 18th century aristocratic vibe. Complete with a water fountain and flowers that bloom, travelers are transported to a completely different setting in this dining room. We dined here Night 3 and Night 6 of our cruise. The 2 menus here are heavy on seafood. Standout menu items include the ahi tuna and avocado tower, garlic and parsley sauteed shrimp, the pan-seared sea bass, Heidi's oven-roasted turkey breast, and warm, sticky date pudding. Now, unlike the competition, one area where Disney Fantasy does fall a little short is specialty dining. When it comes to alternative dining, Disney Fantasy does not offer many options. Few restaurants are open during dinner hours for cruisers who want to skip the main dining rooms. While there are 2 additional adult-only restaurants on the ship, getting reservations for either one of them is difficult. On Deck 12, on the port side, is Remy. This upscale specialty restaurant boasts a seasonal menu comprised of French cuisine. In partnership with a 3-star Michelin chef, the multi-course menus offer the most exquisite dining experience on the ship. Next door on the starboard side on Deck 12 is Palo. This Italian restaurant is home to a variety of classic Italian-American offerings. From calamari and shrimp to burrata and pizza, fresh seafood, and a selection of steaks, it's the perfect restaurant to celebrate a special occasion. On some sea days, Palo opens for brunch as well. Given that Heidi is a picky eater, we knew Remy was out of the question. There were too many menu items that she wouldn't eat to justify the $135 cover charge. We certainly would have dined at Palo and did try to get reservations before our cruise with no luck. On embarkation day, we even waited in line for close to an hour in an attempt to get either a dinner or a brunch reservation. Unfortunately, we were unsuccessful. Perhaps another reason why Disney Cruise Line can command a higher cruise fare is the onboard entertainment. Nowhere else at sea can you see Disney productions come to life. Across our 7 nights on Disney Fantasy, there were 3 signature production shows. Of course, all of them were Disney stories. The first production show on Night 2 was Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular. This 75-minute reimagining of the classic Disney movie includes fantastic singing and set pieces, a high-tech stage that brings the story to life, and some comedic reimagining with the genie. We watched a similar version on our Disney Wish cruise 2 years ago, but we were still impressed with this fun and fast-paced version on Disney Fantasy. However, on night 6, we were a bit let down by Frozen, a musical spectacular. We were big fans of the Frozen movies, but the show's adaptation seemed disjointed. At times, it felt almost cheesy. The 1 hour plus production also felt rushed towards the end. The third show was Disney's Believe. This original production incorporates several Disney characters from classic Disney live films and cartoons. While it started off a bit slow, we both ended up enjoying it. With some ornate sets, fun songs, and heartwarming theme, this final show on night 7 was the ideal way to end the cruise. On the other nights, the Walt Disney Theater was home to a few headliner acts. Illusionist Kid Ace performed a family-friendly magic show on night 3. The percussion band Junk rocked out the theater on night 5. We would say these shows were on par with headliner acts you'd find on other cruise lines. Unlike Disney Wish though, which had a welcome aboard show featuring the Disney characters, there's no similar show on the first night of this cruise, which really surprised us. We would still say Royal Caribbean has some of the best entertainment at sea, especially on its Oasis-class ships. Disney Cruise Line is a close second, so if you are a fan of theater and Disney, then you probably don't mind paying a bit more to sail on Disney Cruise Line. Many cruise lines offer a variety of daytime and nighttime events and activities. Disney Fantasy was no different. Throughout the day, something was always happening at one of the venues around the ship. From various Disney-themed and general trivia, to animation classes, game shows, and family arts and crafts, there are plenty of complimentary activities for cruisers of all ages. One could learn to draw their favorite Disney characters or partake in versions of Majority Rules, memory games, or couple match game shows. These were just not for families. At night, the cruise director staff, led by activities manager Declan, offered adult versions of these games too. One of our favorite nights on board included a double dose of these cruiser favorites in the tube. Additionally, adults-only activities during the day include a variety of alcohol seminars and tastings. While an upcharge, we were surprised at how many different wine tastings, bourbon classes, and other seminars took place throughout the week. Plus, many of them were sold out. Additionally, there were a variety of activities in the D Lounge, the Tube, and other bars and lounges. These include a comedian juggler, silent discos, karaoke, and several musical acts. Like many cruise lines, the musicians rotated through several venues. Perhaps our favorite was the piano and acoustic guitarist duo, Sister Sister. Offering sets that included Disney music and other pop tunes, their vibe drew guests to the atrium or La Piazza. Other featured musicians include a violinist, a piano soloist, and the piano and guitar duo of Vox and Keys. But we would say the nightlife didn't compare to the likes of newer mega ships where the offerings are a bit more upbeat. The ship could have used a more traditional rock band or a solo guitarist performing in O'Gill's Pub. Most bars do close by midnight, and with no casino, there really isn't much to do for those night owls. Along with the main theater, Disney Fantasy was home to the Buena Vista Theater. This stadium-style movie theater showed a variety of first-run Disney movies, including live-action movies and cartoons. We just happened to be sailing when Inside Out 2 was released, and we were among the first in the world to see it. While the movie was free, the popcorn refills did cost $2 with our WDW bucket. Of course, signature to Disney Cruise Line is Pirate Night, which occurred on day 4 of our sailing. This ship-wide festivity includes a special menu in the main dining room, pirate shows on the pool deck, all leading up to the only fireworks at sea. Fellow guests definitely get in on the action by dressing up in their best pirate attire. We've definitely decided that we need to step up our game for our next Disney cruise on Pirate Night. While there's plenty happening throughout the day and night on Disney Fantasy, perhaps the most popular activities on any Disney cruise ship are the character events. Yes, even Heidi and I got in on some of the photo ops. All week, cruisers get the chance to meet and take pictures with classic characters like Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. They even don their best formal attire and Pirate Night attire. Plus, several Disney princesses make the rounds, like Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, and Tiana. Along with the meet and greets that occur in the atrium and near Preludes, there are character shows too. This starts with a sail away party, and then continues with deck parties like Mickey's Pirate in the Caribbean Party, or the Color Spin Deck Party. While geared towards children, there are plenty of adults who get in on the character events too. Other characters pop up here and there too, depending on the day and sailing. On Pirate Night, you won't want to miss Captain Jack Sparrow or Captain Hook and Mr. Smee. You might even bump into Stitch walking around one day. When it comes to the outdoor spaces on Disney Fantasy, the pools and sports court are in line with other mega ships of a similar age. But when compared to newer cruise ships, Disney Fantasy can't compare with the likes of Icon of the Seas pool deck or Category 6 water park. Deck 11 to 13 consists of the main outdoor areas on Disney Fantasy. Midship on Deck 11 are Mickey's Pool and Donald's Pool, which are family pools open to all cruisers. Nearby is the Mickey Slide, which is designed for junior cruisers. For the more adventurous cruisers, the Aqueduct Water Coaster is on Deck 12. This two-person tube water slide takes cruisers all around the pool deck. Utilizing Disney engineering, cruisers go up and down the slide as they circle some 765 feet in the wet and wild ride that can only be brought to you by Donald Duck. For cruisers to 8 years of age or younger, Nemo's Reef is a water splash play area themed after the popular Pixar movie. Low-key in the shade, it's a nice reprieve for both kids and parents as they supervise their little ones. There's also the Funnel Puddle on Deck 12, which is a small, shallow puddle-like pool. A more interactive water zone is the Aqua Lab, aft on Deck 12. Designed for the entire family, this splash zone has a number of interactive water features, all designed to get cruisers drenched. Keeping with the duck theme, this experimental area is designed by Donald Duck's nephews, Huey, Louie, and Dewey. After this area is the sports court on Deck 13. It includes a 9-hole mini golf course designed by Goofy and Max. There's also a court with basketball hoops. However, the sports court never seemed to be utilized much for organized games or activities. There's also 2 virtual sports simulators. They were sold out before our cruise, but never appeared open when we walked by them. While there are plenty of outdoor areas for families and the kids, the Quiet Cove forward on Deck 11 is reserved for adults only. Home to a pool, bar, and a cafe, it's a nice departure from the rest of the pool deck. A step above, both literally and figuratively, is the Satellite Falls Sun Deck on Deck 13. Also an adults only area, it offers a wading pool with waterfall feature and plenty of loungers, with several of them in the shade. It's just a short walk from the Currents outdoor bar as well. With 2 adult only areas, there's actually more space for adults on this ship than on Disney Wish, despite Disney Fantasy being considerably smaller. While Disney is big on theming, we didn't necessarily love the entertainment district on Deck 4. This Europa section is the main hub of nighttime activities and is home to different lounges and bars, all with a distinct European vibe. Heading for midship, La Piazza is an Italian-inspired venue with a circular bar resembling a carousel. Along with live music, the bar featured cocktails infused with regional spirits, like Prosecco or Limoncello. Next door was the cozy champagne bar Ooh La La. This French lounge offered a more subdued experience. Home to light music from a piano or violin soloist, the bubbly concoctions at this bar complemented the velvety fabrics and elegant furniture. For those looking for a more lively nighttime spot, O'Gill's Pub is a traditional Irish pub. With a variety of beers on draft, including the pub's signature O'Gill's Ale, this venue was home to televised sports events. The large wooden bar was the perfect place to pull up a seat and grab a pint, especially during happy hour, when most drinks were only $5. Although not having any pub entertainment here was certainly a miss. The closest thing Disney Fantasy has to a nightclub is the Tube. With nods to British pop culture, music, and fashion, this venue was also home to several game shows and events. While during the day the Tube was one of the venues open for family-centered activities, it became an adults-only venue at night. But if you plan to attend a party or event at the Tube, get there early. This venue becomes standing room only for more popular events like the Couples Match game show or Majority Rules. Lastly, the Skyline Bar is a ship's martini bar. Here guests are treated to a rotating selection of city skylines behind the bar. Using some of that Disney magic, the bar transports guests from London to Paris, Florence, and other European destinations about every 15 minutes. The signature drink menu features cocktails from each city, or guests can opt for an old-fashioned made with the espresso-infused bourbon on the whiskey trolley. For guests dining at one of the 2 adult-only specialty restaurants, the Meridian Bar is the ideal place for a pre- or post-dinner drink, with a selection of classic cocktails and a signature bourbon trolley. The bar's rich wood decor and nautical accents call back to the early days of ocean liners. Along with the indoor bars, Disney Fantasy offers several outdoor bars open during the day to quench your thirst. There are 2 pop-up bars near the family pools and 2 bars in the adult-only areas. These bars offer a small selection of poolside favorites, as well as a selection of spirits, beers, and wine. Of course, there's also 2 cafes to get your caffeine fix: the Cove Cafe on Deck 11 and the Vista Cafe on Deck 4. Each serve espresso-based beverages adorned with your favorite Disney characters. Perhaps the place where Disney Fantasy fell short compared to other cruise lines was the casual dining. On the pool deck, there was Flo's Cafe. This Cars-inspired quick-service venue featured pizza, a grill, sandwiches, and salads. The food here was fine, but nothing wowed us. The burgers at Guy's Burger Joint or the chicken at Shaq's Big Chicken on Carnival Cruise Line ships are much better. Even Heidi agreed that the pizza at Luigi's was just okay. Further, the Fillmore favorites offered a small selection of pre-made sandwiches and salads, but the offerings didn't measure up to the onboard delis and cafes found on competitor cruise lines. Disney Fantasy could have used additional casual eateries. A Tex-Mex takeout window serving bowls or tacos would have been a perfect addition. The options on Disney Fantasy definitely had us missing Mickey's Festival of Foods on Disney Wish. Having just sailed on ships like Icon of the Seas and Carnival Jubilee, we miss these additional grab-and-go options. The Cabanas Buffet aft on Deck 11 was a standard cruise ship buffet. We dined here twice, and the food is what we expected from a mega ship buffet. However, Disney Cruise Line does have its signature crab legs and peel and eat shrimp in the buffet for lunch. The biggest downfall is that the buffet is only open for breakfast and lunch. It does not offer dinner service. Thus, besides the quick service poolside bites or room service, which is free on DCL, although it has a limited menu, there is no alternative to the main dining room for dinner. On the surface, it's difficult to compare Disney Cruise Line to other family-oriented cruise lines. While the cruise line charges considerably more than the competition, it does offer more in its cruise fares. For instance, soft drinks are available around the clock on the pool deck. There are also complimentary at sit-down restaurants. Further, the staterooms are larger and have features like the split bathrooms, making them feel more like hotel accommodations. The same feeling is evident around the ship, with Disney cruise ships resembling a Disney Deluxe hotel with their decor and ambiance. We must admit that DCL ships feel more upscale than other family cruise lines, which can sometimes have a shopping mall feel in some of the public spaces. Dining in the main dining room on Disney Fantasy was also a couple notches above contemporary cruise lines. From the menu choices, to decor and design, to the service, our nightly dinners were exquisite with a touch of Disney magic. That Disney magic spilled into the main theater shows too. While I would have expected more Disney entertainment in the main theater, the 3 production shows put the cruise line near the top of our list for best live entertainment at sea. Along with the entertainment in the Walt Disney Theater, there were also a variety of onboard daytime and nighttime activities that matched other cruise lines. Admittedly, these are heavily Disney themed. In fact, the one thing you can't escape on a Disney cruise is Mickey and friends. They are essentially everywhere. They're found in the atrium for photo ops and are part of the deck parties and shows. So, to spend this extra money, you and the family better really love Disney. And that's what it really boils down to, whether you're a Disney fan or not. Several of the folks we spoke to were avid Disney fans, and many of them cruised frequently with Disney Cruise Line. But of course, whether it's worth the upcharge depends on your budget. While we do love Disney, we wouldn't spend as much on a Disney cruise again as we did on this one. We could have easily gone on at least 2 other cruises on other cruise lines for the same price we paid for this balcony cabin. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that price tag for our next Disney cruise. For our sailing on Disney Treasure in January of 2025, our veranda stateroom is much more reasonably priced at under $4,500 for a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise. At that price, we have no qualms about booking a Disney cruise. Now, if you and your family don't love Disney, the DCL price point is probably not worth it. There are definitely other family-friendly cruise lines that will offer similar experiences, minus the Disney touches, at cheaper price points. Don't think just because it's Disney That's the only cruise line out there for families. Now, after watching this video, if you're not sure if a Disney cruise is right for you, don't worry, we have you covered. Right here on YouTube, we have our look at the top 10 brand new cruise ships for 2024. In that video, we share all the details about innovative cruise ships from brands like Princess Cruises, Celebrity Cruises, Royal Caribbean, and more. That way, your next cruise is smooth sailing.